Here we have Darley job 3313. A new Ford F550 on the 2017 chassis. A little bit longer cab, all aluminum. You may first of all notice the curbside pump panel. What I mean by that is that the main operator's control panel is over here on the passenger side, or the curb side, also known as the officer side of the vehicle. The goal behind this is to get the fire pump operator out of the main traffic over on the driver's side, where you would typically pull up alongside the highway, and the free-flowing traffic would still be moving along that driver's side of the vehicle. So this is a curbside control panel here. We also have an operator's side panel mounted monitor system, which shows you what is going on over on the driver's side. That's located above the panel, and I'll show you more about that here in a moment. So this is a 6.7 liter diesel engine rated at 330 horsepower. It's got the Ford automatic 6-speed transmission, which powers the Darley PSMC 1500 gallon per minute fire pump. Yes, I said 1500 gallons per minute of firefighting capability on a Ford F550. This vehicle also has the 120 CFM auto CAFS compressed air foam system driven by the Darley pump. So here we are now at that curbside pump panel here on the right side, or passenger side, of this Ford F550 Darley WASP vehicle. WASP stands for Wildland Attack and Structure Protection Vehicle. So this vehicle does have all-wheel drive. It's a 4x4, 4-door chassis on the 84 cab to axle, 84 inches from the back of the cab to the center of the rear axle. So we have room for this Darley PSMC fire pump. You'll notice we have 4 main control discharges here with levers that go up and down, and another 2 control levers here going. We got 2 discharges here. The outer levers go to the other side pump panel, where the 2 levers here closest to the 2.5 inch discharge is controlled on this side pump panel. We have a Darley auto control governor, so we have an electronic pressure governor to control the speed of the engine, which thereby controls the pressure making of the pump. We've got a Foam Pro 2001 foam injection system to pump the 30 gallons of onboard Class A foam into our water at a ratio of 0.3%. 0.3% means you're going to use 3 gallons of pure Class A foam concentrate with every 1,000 gallons of water. This has a 300-gallon water tank on board, so literally you'll be only using 1 gallon of foam for every tank load of water, 1 gallon of foam for every 300 gallons of water to make a good compressed air foam firefighting stream. We have individual air injection switches above each of the discharges, and built-in flow meters, individual flow meters, to tell you how much water and foam solution is moving to each of those discharges as well. So your discharges with CAFs on this vehicle are right here. You have your front crosslay, the push-pull control, the middle crosslay, and the rear 2.5 inch crosslay. The flow meter, the injection switch, the flow meter, the injection switch, and the flow meter, and again the injection switch for these 3 hose loads right above the pump operator's panel. So 3 discharges, a 2.5 inch crosslay and 2 1 3/4 inch plumbed 2 inch plumbing with CAF. So those are your 3 foam capable and CAFs capable discharges. Now another unique feature about this vehicle, and something that's really not unique to Darley, is that all of our fire pumper bodies are built using a copolymer plastic material. So we integrate the water tank and the body side panels and all the compartmentation all built out of plastic. So everything you see back here that's painted red, including what's inside those compartments, is all copolymer plastic material. We have them behind 3 ROM Series 4 roll-up doors or side shutters, currently shown in the closed position. And here are those same 3 compartments with their roll-up doors opened. So we've got a couple of adjustable shelves in the rear compartment. We've actually got a TV, a display monitor, that's going to be mounted in this over wheel well compartment here on this right side of the vehicle. It's going to be powered off of a 12 volt to 120 volt inverter so that we can run a slideshow of all the various different types of vehicles that Darley can build, and also show a presentation of the advantages of having a curbside or officer side pump panel. And then the right front compartment here, you got storage for a couple of lengths of hose, and then a couple more storage compartments. And above that is the 12 volt air compressor that's used to keep the air system charged up, that's been added to this vehicle for operating things such as our pump shift or any other air operated valves. You could have air horns on this vehicle if you wanted. You could have other types of air switching system, because we have an onboard air tank and a 12 volt air compressor to charge up that air tank. There's a little bit better look at the Vi-Air, chrome plated, all stainless steel and aluminum in construction, the air compressor that charges the air tank system built onto this vehicle. Well, I've moved around the back side of the vehicle now, and you'll see right off the bat the nice alternating red and yellow chevron striping that's been applied to the back of this vehicle. This is an all-reflective safety striping to help indicate that this vehicle is parked alongside the road. It shines quite brightly at night and warns oncoming traffic that you're currently sitting alongside that highway. We also have 2 12 volt telelights mounted on the back of this vehicle for lighting up the scene. Got a couple of tow hooks mounted here on the back side of the body. We've got a rear tailboard with built-in rear 2-inch receiver, as well as a 12 volt power supply if you want to do a portable type of a winch. A 12 volt power and ground cable have been provided for powering a winch. And then there's also some bright LED step lights back here at the rear as well. Behind that rear roll-up door we have a pull-out tray, where currently we have that pull-out tray has a floating strainer, a Fold-A-Tank brand folding strainer setting on it, in case we need to do any drafting to refill our water tank while we're out on the demo circuit. We've got that Fold-A-Tank strainer, a low-level strainer, as well as a floating strainer capability, and then there's another adjustable shelf mounted above that pull-out tray. We also have a 2.5-inch direct fill port here at the back of the vehicle. What's special about this direct fill is that it's automatically controlled at the pump panel. So if you hook up a 2.5-inch pressurized feed line or start pumping to this vehicle from another source, the autofill looks at the water level gauge, and anytime the water tank were to drop below half full, an electrically controlled 2.5-inch ball valve will automatically open and bring water back into your water tank and refill it to the 95% mark. In other words, it won't overflow the tank, but it'll automatically top off your tank nearly to 90 to 95%, and then it'll automatically close itself. It'll then wait until water tank level drops below half full, and then it'll automatically open itself once again to refill the water tank back to about 90%. The water level can be monitored here at the back of the vehicle using this Whelen brand PS Tank LED set of lights. There's 4 different lights. There's red, yellow or amber, and then there's blue, and then there's green corresponding lights showing you whether you're quarter full, half full, 3/4, or completely full. There's also one of those on each side of the vehicle as well. Now on top of this body, on the left side, or the driver's side, we have 3 7-foot long, 6-inch diameter hard suction hoses, and on the upper right side of the body is space for a 2-section or a 3-section an extension ladder for accessing up to 21 to 22 feet. Now again, we have a 300-gallon water tank and a 30-gallon Class A foam tank built in, and as you can see, there's a pretty good amount of storage up on top of this hose bed. The thinking being you're going to want to bring along enough 2.5-inch or 3-inch hose to supply your autofill system, as well as maybe some large diameter hose for if you want to hook or tap into a hydrant at some point. But we really recommend you using the autofill anytime you're running the calf system, and the reason being is that allows you to always run from draft and keep your pump running at a nice steady pressure whenever you're operating your fire pump system. So now we'll open up this rear compartment door. And show you that fold-a-tank floating strainer that's been provided here in the rear compartment. Okay, we got those same pair of Whelen Pioneer telescoping lights here mounted on each side of the pump compartment as well. And if you look up on top of the vehicle, we've got a diamond plate, embossed diamond plate cover over top of the crosslays, as well as room up in the dunnage area for 4 pails of Class A foam. So again, there's room up there for 4 pails of Class A foam above the pumping area, as well as your telescoping lights as well. Now we're over on the driver's side, or the left side of the vehicle, where this pump panel looks a little odd, a little plain. We've really only got the 2 driver's side controls here for running the number 3 2.5-inch discharge, and then the large diameter, or number 4, which has a 3-inch valve controlling this large diameter discharge. We have levers on both sides of the pump panel for easy operation or adjustment if you were over here on this side of the pump panel. But otherwise, all of your main controls are curbside in this situation. Now we do have a camera. This is called the Darley Curbside Pump Panel Camera System, but in this case it's actually being used to put the monitor on the curbside, and the camera's going on the driver's side to give you a good look as to what's going on over on this side of the vehicle. Some other things you may notice: here's our sight glass for our calf's oil level. This is where we check our oil level for our calf system. We also very conveniently put the fill port for our calf system, very accessible. Darley is very keenly aware of compressed air foam and its capabilities, and just about everything we build today here in our apparatus building has compressed air foam. We try to make everything quite serviceable. So we've got our oil fill port right here. We've got our foam tank valve here. Again, very accessible. We can drain the foam tank simply by turning this valve 45 degrees, or by turning it 90 degrees. This drain hose here, if I pulled it out and stuck it into a 5-gallon pail, could also be used as an auxiliary pickup for our foam system as well. But in 99% of the situations, we just have the foam tank in the on position, just as it's shown here. I'm now underneath the vehicle. Couple of things that I want to show you. The reason I'm laying down here is to show you the DEF tank for this Ford chassis is mounted here outside the frame rail. We've relocated it, put it in a nice location, gave it a nice protective coating. In fact, the entire frame under here has been coated with an epoxy paint to help extend the life of the chassis components that are underneath. But the real reason I'm down here is I wanted to show you this sticker right here, this tag. It's upside down, but that says calf's oil tank drain line. So I've got a line that runs from my calf's oil tank down here to a plug or a cap that we can now remove this cap, and this will drain the contents of our calf's oil tank. Makes it very quick and easy for serviceability. The mechanics love us because we try to only mount calf's components in a way to make them very easy to service. So within about an hour or so, we can change our air filter, our oil filter, drain our entire contents of the oil, and refill up the system and be right back into business. We have another 3 compartments over here on the driver's side of the vehicle. We'll lift the lift bar, open these compartments. We've also got a nice stainless steel cover here showing you where your diesel fuel fill is. Alright, so here are those three compartments. I also want to, before I forget, show you that there's a DEF fill port here underneath your large diameter discharge. This is your diesel exhaust fluid that as you're running and operating the diesel engine, you will consume some DEF. There's a gauge on the dash, the nice new digital dash in these Ford 2017s. So it shows you how much exhaust fluid you have in the tank, and just like fuel, it gives you an approximate mileage before you need some more. So we have all LED strip lighting in our compartments. We got room for some 4 SCBA tanks for your SCBA tanks. There's some spare bottle storage in the lower 2 shelves at an angle. And then we've got an over wheel well compartment with a bunch of our goodies for doing demonstrations of compressed air foam while we're out on the road. And then we've got a compartment here in the rear with an adjustable height shelf. And then the electric 2.5-inch valve that feeds into the tank using our autofill system. And you can see here the LED strip lighting glowing because I got the master switch turned on inside the cab. Alright. Down here under the driver's door, built into the running board, you can see you've got a Kusmal auto eject plug. This is where you would plug in 120 volts to this plug. It'll show you on this status indicator what the current voltage is in your batteries and what amperage rate it's charging at, and it'll give you a various condition LEDs telling you what the status is. That Kusmal battery charger has been mounted in the back of the cab, right here between the 2 rear SCBA seats. So you've got a Bostrom firefighter type SCBA seat, one on each side here, with the nice Secure All type bottle storage, and then, like I says, an Auto Charge 1000 battery maintenance system right here between these 2 rear seats. Now, Darley was unique in the fact that we were able to utilize the factory Ford center console, so you were able to maintain your air conditioning and heat vents, as well as a 110 volt inverter plug and your 12 volt plug here in the back of the cab. We've got a cup holder. We did lose the middle cup holder, the center cup holder. There used to be a sliding cup holder in this area, and we've replaced it with all of our necessary warning light toggle switches and our pump and our air compressor shift, as well as our master switch. Okay, now the other thing you might notice is up here ahead of those components, we've recessed the Whelen siren control right underneath the Ford factory sink door. So when you're not using your siren or you're out on the Darley Demo, we can pull the sink door closed. But when you need to use your siren control, you just push your sink door out of the way. You've got a USB power port in here, as well as a Whelen siren control with your microphone here right inside. Just slips right down there into the bracket. Alright, try to customize these rigs a little bit for you, make them look as nice as we can. Now, this new 2017 Ford interior is quite nice, quite stylish. You've also got a built-in LCD screen right in your dash that doubles as a backup camera as well when you put this vehicle in reverse. The view behind you will show up right in this LCD screen here in the center of the dash. It also displays all of your stereo controls, and a variety of other information can be read off of this monitor built into the dash. Now, the entire dash area above the steering wheel is also all electronic, and I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Well, prior to putting the pump in gear in the cab, I'm just going to open the tank to pump, supply water into our pump, make sure that my master drain is closed so that I don't lose any of the water that I've got in my tank. Make sure all my 3/4 inch drains are closed, Make sure all my main discharge valves are closed, and then I'm going to crack my tank refill here just a little bit. That way I can put my pump into gear and I can do what I need to from inside the cab without having to worry about running a dry pump. Alright, so here we go. I'm now getting inside of our new Ford F550 built in 2017. This is the Darley job 3313. We'll get in and close the door. Since I got the keys in the ignition, we get that nice little Ford factory chimes taking place. You can see right off the bat we got a nice looking control system inside this vehicle. I'm going to go ahead, I've got the chassis master switch turned on. I'm going to go ahead and turn the keys on and get the vehicle engine running. We'll go ahead and I'll turn the stereo system off for right now. Alright, you can see the digital speedometer, your various gear selectors. And one of the things I want to show you, first off, I'm going to put my foot on the service brake down here below. I'm going to drop the transmission into reverse. First thing I'm going to identify is that I'm now in reverse. And I can hear the backup alarm going off. And I can also, while looking in my rear LCD screen here in the center of the dash, see the rear tailboard and exactly what is behind me on the screen. It's a very nice, almost high definition. It almost appears to be high definition, the camera that's pointed out the back of the vehicle. So if I were to move slightly, it's hard to pick up the movement, but I'm actually going backwards a little bit. That'll show you what's directly right in back of your tailboard. And your tailboard is actually what's the furthest protruding off the back of the vehicle other than your tail lights. So this gives you a pretty good idea of how close you are to anything right behind you. Now obviously you do still have your side view mirrors that you can use for seeing what's alongside of you, both driver's side and passenger side here. This 2017 chassis has been equipped with the power telescoping mirrors, where if I need to pull them in a little bit using this switch, it's a motorized telescoping control. If I push them out, you'll see them extend out. And that's fully extended out to help get past the side of the body. You can actually see the side of the body now when they're fully extended out. You can adjust them using either the left button or the right button, and then using the up, down, left, and right, you can adjust your mirrors. We've also got power folding. If you push this button here, your mirrors will fold up against the side of the vehicle. Might not seem like a big deal, but I'll tell you what, if you park this vehicle in a parking lot, if you're using it to get groceries for the fire department, for your station, it's a nice way to prevent anybody from running into those mirrors when you're in the parking lot. And then you can power them back out to their normal position. Alright, well, I've got that backup alarm still beeping, so I'm going to go ahead and push it back into park, and you can see that display that goes out straight away. Now, I'm going to put the vehicle in drive just as if we had just shown up on scene. So you'll see that the transmission indicator shows us in first gear right now. As we drive along, that transmission indicator will show us what gear the transmission is shifted into. So as you're driving along, the automatic transmission will pick the best gear for you to be in. Obviously, when you're up at highway speeds, you'll be in 6th gear. When you're just cruising around at low speeds, you could be in 1st gear. You can manually force it to stay into 1st gear by running your shift lever all the way down. And now you'll see it just shows that you're down in 1st gear. Drop it up into 2nd, or pull it up into 2nd, or manual. Now you can use the button here along the side, and you can go up or down and select the different gears you want to maintain. So like right now we'd be in 3rd gear, 2nd gear, 1st gear. Or if you just put this straight into drive, then you have all 6 gears available to you. Alright, so I'm going to now simulate just as if we had pulled up on a fire scene. Alright, so if we just pulled up on a fire scene, we've got our master switch was on, we probably had our master warning light on, we probably had our light bar, our front warning, side warning, rear warning lights were on. Now that we've gotten to the scene of the fire, we probably would have showed up and we'd be in drive now, right? We'd be in drive. If I've now selected this as my point of attack, this is now where I'm going to be. I'm going to position the vehicle right here for a firefight. The first thing I want to do is I want to move my transmission selector just up one click into neutral. I then want to come down, find my parking brake, and set my parking brake. Firmly depress that parking brake. Now I can release my service brake, come over to my air compressor and my pump shift, put my compressor into gear, because anytime I want to use CAFs, I need to engage the CAF shift before engaging the pump shift. So now I've got my air compressor shifted. Now I'm going to shift my fire pump. You release the little safety catch here, and then pull straight up. Now I've got a butt tooth condition. What that means is that the gears in my pump are trying to lock up with the gears in the transmission of the pump, so that when I put it in drive, it'll put it into fourth gear direct drive lockup. But my teeth have butted head to head or tooth to tooth. But simply, and this is no different than if I did get the green light, I'm going to put my foot now on the service brake. I'm going to go back up here to my transmission shifter and I'm going to drop it one click from neutral into drive. And I can already hear my transmission has gone to fourth gear. You can see the indicator. And I've got my pump engaged light. As soon as I release my foot from the service brake, my OK to pump light came on. I am now successfully pumping with this Darley PSMC fire pump. And I'm in fourth gear. And now my throttle back at the pump panel is activated. The OK to pump light tells me that. So now I can go back to the pump panel and I can start fighting fire. Now, two last points. Do not bump the brake and do not bump the throttle pedal. You do not want to bump either of those two pedals down there, or it will knock you out of fourth gear and you'll have to start over. So be careful getting out of the cab that you don't bump the service brake or the accelerator pedal. So again, you'll see the parking brake is set, the service brake, don't bump it, accelerator pedal, do not bump it either. But we're in gear and we're pumping. So one of the first things you'll notice, by having the tank to pump open and having the tank refill cracked, we've already got the pump primed and we've got about 17 psi of pressure right here at the pump. I could pull my primer and just make sure that I've got pump pressure as well. Okay, cracked my tank refill. We don't have a whole lot of water here to work with. And then you'll also see that the air compressor engaged light is on as well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull one of my cross lay lines here and show you how to make compressed air foam. Alright, so I'm back at the pump panel now. Again, we got 17 psi of pressure just at idle. My tank to pump is open. My tank refill is just cracked just slightly. Now what I want to do is I'm going to run using my middle cross lay. I've got my 150 feet of hose deployed. I'm going to go ahead and you basically have two options. You can either manually start to increase your pressure using the plus button, or you can hit the preset button. Hitting the preset button, well, it thinks I got low water pressure. There we go. I can hit the preset button. It'll take you right to 100 psi. So we'll have 100 psi of water pump pressure. We'll have 100 psi of CAF's air compressor pressure. My Foam Pro is automatically on and set at 0.3%. So now I'm going to go ahead and start charging my line with water. Now I've got water and foam solution coming. I'm going to back that off to a dry foam. I'm going to turn on my compressed air. And now I'm making CAFs. open this nozzle. Alright, now I'm going to open up this nozzle and show you what CAFS looks like. Now if you wanted to make drier CAFS, you just close down on the valve lever a little bit to the red line. And if you want to make wetter CAFS for higher heat absorbing, well then you just pull out on the line a little bit more and bring it out past the yellow or the blue mark, and it'll make a much higher heat absorbing type of CAFS. Now I'll show you what that stream looks like. You can see here there's some pretty good fluffy foam still laying on the ground here, clinging up in the tree branches. I'll just shoot this for a second and then I'm going to go back to the panel and we'll go flush this line out. There you go, compressed air foam. That was shooting probably close to 60 feet. 60 feet or better. Just foam down the side of the building. You can see the all LED Whalen lights lighting up the scene. You might notice the tracer lights down here in the running board. That's a new feature. The last couple of demo trucks that Darley's built, we built in some tracer lights lighting up down underneath the running boards. You can see I've got the curbside pump panel monitor on. Kind of shows you the view of the other side of the vehicle. We're right up next to the building, so you get that same look of the building. Alright, we'll go ahead and we'll turn on these tail lights. We'll go right side front, right side rear, left side front, panel lights. Check our panel lights. Check our rear tail lights. We can also turn those tail lights off from inside the cab. So if I wanted to turn off, let's say, the left side front and the left side rear, now both my left side front and my left side rear lights are off. But my right side rear and my right side front are still on, which I can then turn off here. Alright, now to flush this line out with just plain water, I'm going to shut off my air, turn off my foam. Now my red light is off. Underneath the word on, there's no red light. So my foam is now off. Now I'm just going to flush this out with plain water and we'll be done for the day. You do need to remember though that this entire line, this 150-foot line, is still charged with CAFs. So we need to release that energy before we're going to get clean, plain water coming from the pumping system. Alright, so we'll go ahead and blow out this foam and get some clean water coming. Mine just got a lot heavier. Well, there you have it. Job 3313. The Darley 2017 F550 WASP demo. Available to do a fire department demonstration at a department near you anytime now. It's June 9th, 2017. My name is Troy Carruthers with the Darley Company. I'm the compressed air foam system product manager for Darley, and I sure hope you give this new rapid attack vehicle a good look. This thing has a lot of capability and a lot of features that you just don't find in a full-size fire apparatus these days. This vehicle can go places that other size vehicles just cannot. It really complements a fire department fleet.